Pyokin Yintin Sangulerim Sigayon Samdi Shuyin, Taring Pyogalo Nidon Gata Shivshajik, Rabnation the Le Dao Gube, Sebanishu Truta, Chilunido Chupshile, Dao Jujibe, Sebachubge, Sami Magi, Chiruchu Trube Sanguletian Yindin Shuyin. Kyagashune Zinju Pimir Tungin George Chejogi Siju Chilunido Chupshisheba Teto, Sabjon Langap Kushab Kiren Rijiju Choki, Lugu Yurin Dembe Pabu Debe Nedan Lashine, Zinju Pimitsu Chetu, Siju Tindashi Dembe Chegu, Ngansur Gen Yu Che Songshin, Maombaya Mutu Kanche Tumitolaya Bezun Shujo Che Songdo. Nobel Shide Singda Shinkengi Lenzo Teng Chupshiba Italy Gesa Romna Soden Kedo. Urusu Gesa Moscow na Pyogi Sowa Rigbe Kor Kutan Timdun Teng Tamunando, Sangu Shibda Mutin Sirona. Kasan Sadawe ni Gesa Dilir Kyaga Ushun Nansi Lekon ki Kuti wo Zenju Bimi Shija Ka ki Sane Kunzi da Soso Ginzi Namba Tishin Gwende Ka ki Deyu Jela Nyeja Kyaga Shun ki Sera na we Zenju Pimir Tungin Jojo Checho ki Siju Chilu Nidon Jupshi Sheba Detola Sabjon Shik Na Yubre. Sabjon to Kyaga Nansi Lekon ki Kyabgon Geyong Ngade Lekon ki Lunshin Kushab Kiren Rijiju Chokya Chebeb Na Yubre. Tishin to Kyaga Nansi Lekon ki Songrung Ka Nita Chide Lekon Che ki Deyu Leje Pimitikzu ki Nansi Kalun Geridoma Chota Dili Tunju Kasur Tembatsirin Cho Choshu Chidu Chogyong Wanchu La Da Ugatsa Yudun La Tsirin Yudun La Jingme Jungne La Je Pebna Yubre. Sabjon to Zenju Pimini Yu Ngade Sosu Kyaga Shun ki Lekon Ka ki Deyu Kutsab Ka Gya Chebebna Do. Kushab Kiren Rijiju Choki, Zenju Pimir Tungin Jojo Chejo ki Siju Chilunidon Chupshi Sewa Siju Tindashi Tembe Yongwar, Taba Durani ne Kantu Pezun Shuna Yogota. Siju di Zenju Pimitsu Kangin Chasangwashi Setubgire Samgi Megyan Lamdun Shik Tenden Chagre Je Sungba Mase. Zenju Pimitsu ne Nganzu Chedyo Gundun Zammase Pabyo Niwar Kateda Mebe, Lugu Yurin Dembe Dewa Tamsab Yobe Nedan Lashi ne, Zenju Pimitsu Rongde Shugu Nganzu Lengenya Chagyo Je Sungdo. Deshin Konki Talingi Siju Tindashi Tembeb Tubar Rani Gelayang Kasordan Delo Kengbu Chungsong Mase Maombar Delel Haba Kanche Tumi Tolaya Bejun Shucho Je Sungdo.
Somehow I felt that we in India, we have as a large country, we have numerous issues and problems in this country. And in the process, some of the important issues get sidelined. It's not deliberate sometimes, but because of the way in which our country has come into existence and the nature of problems we face, the exigencies are such that sometimes very important policies, like policies relating to the Tibetan friends, do not get adequate attention in the government level. I feel it. So when I assumed this position in the Ministry of Home Affairs, I had immediately talked to my senior minister and the senior officers like Home Secretary and other officers dealing with the subject, even to the officials in the PMO. I said that we must do something. We cannot just remain like that. There are issues in our hand and it cannot just wait for us to act. It's already too late and we can't just take excuse of being busy for other purposes. These are some of the things on humanitarian ground we need to really act and act on time too. I think the time has come. We will go ahead with this policy and then issues will remain, Issues cannot be settled 100% for any case. As a human being, we are confronted with various situation every now and then. Situation is always dynamic from time to time. But if we move with a direction, with a concrete policy in hand, it helps us in formulating, our own way of conducting on this subject. So I think when I finally saw the policy on Tibetan refugees in place, I was very excited. So I told our Joint Secretary and Droma Gariji that I'm personally very happy and very satisfied because I was feeling helpless, Even as a member of parliament, I was in opposition party 10 years back, so I used to feel a little frustrated, I'm just honestly telling you. Being in opposition party, I used to tell the Home Minister then that please do something. We cannot go on like this. But as I said, there were issues, which prevented us from having a concrete policy with regards to the welfare of the Tibetans in this country. So now we are in the government, and I'm happy that in a very initial stage of our government, we could see that there is a policy in hand. You are our honored guest. Despite not having a refugee policy, it is conscious decision of the Government of India to grant refugee status to our Tibetan friends, along with under the visionary, the spiritual leader, His Holiness Dalai Lama. This is because the Tibetans and Indians, we are not just having a political relation. Our relation goes beyond it. We have social, and more importantly, we have spiritual relationship. That binds us together. If Kailas Mansarovar or all the important places in Tibet like Namcha Barwa and all this, our people still go there. The Hindus, in lifetime, everybody wants to go to Mansarovar Lake or Kailas Parvat before they leave this world. These are in Tibetan territory. And then Buddhism born in India. That's very well put by His Holiness Dalai Lama, that India is a guru, Tibet is a chela. So we are not just, it's not a mere coincidence that we are just trying to help each other. It's a bounded duty on our part to help each other, because our relation is deep-rooted, it's historical, it's ancient, it's very, very deep-rooted spiritual. So that is why on our own part we need to do it. I'm very happy that we could see through a policy in hand. And as I said, after this we will try to explore what else could be done. Now, the Government of India, as a welfare state, we normally have a very welfare-related programs and policies. We will be very, very sad if it doesn't reach to our Tibetan friends. The benefits, what we envisage for Indian citizens, should reach to our honored guest. We feel that. And sometimes it needs to go beyond. So I will not, speak very long. As I said, I have been speaking actually. We have been meeting, so it's not new for me to stand here and speak on the subject, as our learned officers have already stated. And our Foreigners Division Joint Secretary, who had joined recently, when he came to meet me, to greet me, we had a discussion. So I told our Joint Secretary Foreigners Division also, now we have to look for certain status to our Tibetan friends also. We have to, go forward. We have to have certain concrete policy in hand. So in close coordination between, as a head ministry, Minister of Home Affairs, and then important three components, our division of FFR, Foreigners Division, and our IB. Together, these three important divisions in our ministry, together we are going to forge a kind of a policy and steps forward, so that maximum benefits will be given to Tibetan friends and minimum restriction or minimum trouble to you. That is our ultimate idea. That is why I have come here personally, despite my engaged program in Leh Ladakh region. I've come here and going back tomorrow again to continue with my election campaign. I've just come here to share this moment with you. I congratulate our officials in the Ministry of Home Affairs, and particularly Dromaji, Tempala, and all the senior Tibetan friends whom I know personally, and some of them I may not know, but we have interacted in various occasions. We will continue to be friends forever, and nobody can separate it. It's not a matter of choice, but we are bound to be together because we are inseparable, historically and in future also. So I look forward that in future we are going to work closely we are going to exist together and going to respect and honor each other.
CGD thola zowu gin shekin gyaga nangsi legong gi songdong kushap gege patak choki CGD thon ne ngansu khangtubdu gi gyaga na yebe chenju phemisyo kangye segyu thola bejun shuru che ta CGD gi nangdön kha rerishin ngade soso te gyaga legong kha gi kusap da choja wa yola dejo na yobre.
We have recently formulated the Tibetan Rehabilitation Policy 2014, where we have laid down certain broad norms for the state governments to follow while catering to the issues and problems of the Tibetan families living in India. This policy was widely consulted by all the stakeholders, like the state governments concerned, where the Tibetan settlements are located, the central government ministries, the MEA, and such other important stakeholders were consulted, and then this policy was made.
Kongi ngade soso kusap sor CGD na segi tudön khala lagdar thusang gobe kumaya na yobre.
Now the purpose of my presentation before you is to brief the state governments as well as the Tibetan settlement officers who represent various settlements across India about the facilities that are rightfully due to a Tibetan family living in a particular state. The Tibetan families presently live across 45 settlements in some 10 states. However, there are many Tibetans who live outside these settlements. We have invited all the state governments, all the 10 state governments, I believe 7 are here. We expect the state governments to closely see this presentation and enforce these guidelines. And I also expect the Tibetan representatives coming from across the country to understand what their rights are under this policy so that they can interact with the local state government in a more meaningful way.
Deshin gyaga ushung chide lekong ki kusap ne kyabjo ladeb da chigyo ladeb sebo da dewe nedyo thola ya dejo na yobre. Pimitik zu gi nasi kalun gerito macho ki gyaga shungma yon la CGD tindashi tembe na war ning thakwa ne tuji che shubata CGD pimitik zu la ya zenju pimitsu kangye segyur pendo chimpu chungyu sane gonzi sorya mangso ki dedu segyur nga lilabe tengbo ya ta nyuba yongye yinche songdo.
So therefore I would say this policy has empowered the CTRC, in turn the Central Tibetan Administration, to be able to more effectively regulate and also deliver on behalf of the Tibetan refugee community. It has empowered the Tibetan settlement officers to be able to more effectively represent its people and also be able to solve the problems of the Tibetan refugee community. If I go into the merits of the policy, I think I will take hours, and I know that His Excellency Kiren ji has to go back. So therefore, I would just like to end by making a small comment on an issue that I would want each and every Tibetan that we live in India should keep in mind. Number one, because I was at certain interviews asked, I would like to say with certainty here at this very important dais that the policy, the rehabilitation policy is a result of the policy of the government of India for rehabilitation of the Tibetan refugees in exile.
Songshekha Trupsam Deyu Purika Ushu Thone Tibetan na yobre. Nobel shide singda sheken nambe geji lenzo teng chupshiba Italy gesa Rome to jinda chungni be seba chungni ne chupshibar choten ke yobata jino konsa kyamgwen chimbu choki u Nobel shide singda shenyong ke minakha nishtsani ne lenshu nangden ke yoba deyu lekhone nyelam sargwe setashi penando Zavel Henzo di Daongome nang Lo Africa Tsonggu Chegang Lo Africa Shungcho ne Konsagam Gwen Chimbuchola Tsongdur Lenshu Zegu Tongjen Yikjama Piwarden Nobel Shide Singda Sheken Shen Namnika Lenzo to Chergumi Be Tajo Nang Re. Chezan Lenzo Dishin Lo Africa ne Chirden Chegwe Chune Taja Lenzo Teng Chushiba Dishin Italy Gesa Rome na Tsogyu Denke Chungwa Shikin Bata Gesa Rome na Talenza Mayimbar Tengwe Lenzo Teng Tangbutsibe Taba Lenzo Teng Ge Tsosimbre. Tunjangweme Sanjodo Ursu Gesa Moscow na Pyogi Sowa Rigbe Kor Kutang Chang Dunju Tundun Zam Dimdun Nangdo. Yinte Dimdun Unje Kap Ursu Kuzab Tunju Ngawa Rabge la Kundun Du Pepshuki Pyogi Sogyun Sowa Rigbe Kene Kor Songshe Nangdo. Dimdun Dishin Naran Pyogi Sowa Rigbe Menkang Sewa Sanzu Nane Long Nish Sanga Kobi Nimo Songzi Dan Tabdun Menkang Wene Kuri Nawa Shiredo la Kuiter Tenje Dimdun Nawa Teng Tangbu Chagdo. Taringi Sangyu Tizami, Pedon the Java Sangyu Gebaka, www.tibet.net, www.pyoza.asia, Tishin www.shizang.org, Shamgutazi, Tejoton Sigyu. Tene Pyogi Mensikangi Loto Tan Taramsale, Namshungunda Sirona.
Pyoge Lungi Dongeda Shiji, Pendagobe, Tsing, Shudun Dan, Chinda Chukchik, Tsejugu, Resalhagba, Jungje Chulung, Tsejanyembe, Lishi Saba Riguzun Nang Minin, Laba Donyen Dikdang, Pama Dole Sokzeba Nangyu. Pyoge Lungi Dongeda Shiji, Pendagobe, Tsing, Shugetan, Chinda Chukchik, Tsing, Shu, Resapubu, Jungche Lungi Tebe, Tazi Yabotan, Lasu Dongwa, Riglam Lomye Nawa, Chela Shuba, Dona, Cheda Lomye Sogla Sanwa Yue, Yinya, Tsege Sada, Kigang Sharwe, Kale Rik, Pama Dongle, Pylen Jigyu Talemba, Shimbe Leda, Pumbo Tula Dong Mirungwe, Tona Nangyu, Tujeche.